Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. My name's Garrett Beliski, and today I'm going to tell you all about Falls Creek. And if you're thinking to yourself, what's Falls Creek? Calm down. I'm going to explain it to you. Falls Creek is like church, but better. Have you ever been at church and thought, man, what an awesome hour-long service that was on this Wednesday or Sunday night? Well, if you have, you're like me, and you've thought, I wish this could last for a week straight. And that's why I took the liberty in creating what's known now as Falls Creek. But if you haven't lived under a rock for the last 10 years, you already know what Falls Creek is. The problem is, a lot of students don't know what the rules are. So today, I'm going to go over a few of those rules with you. Before I go over those rules, it's important to know why we have rules. Number one, because they're fun. That's right, rules are fun. They keep people safe, and also it keeps our focus on God. If there was no rule against my wife running people over with her golf cart at Falls Creek, kids would be getting ran over left and right, and then they wouldn't be able to hear from God. So that's why it's a rule not to run over children with your golf cart. And we'll go over more rules like that in a second. Hey Amy, do you think Todd or Andy will be in my rules video?
I don't know, you'll have to ask them.
You know, Garrett, I was just thinking, without rules, there are no rules.
So let's go over these rules, shall we? These are presented in no particular order. They're all important. Rule number one, no PDA / be modest. That means, guys and ladies, we have a dress code. Let's stick to it. Also, no PDA. If you don't know what PDA is, stop lying. No PDA. Before we leave for Falls Creek, I will be giving each one of you a sheet that you will write your name on to identify who you are. On the back of said name sheet, you'll have a schedule. That schedule will show you where you need to be and when you need to be there at all times. One important one that I want to point out right now is the curfew. The curfew is 10 o'clock p.m. Some of you are thinking, Garrett, what's a curfew? A curfew is when you need to be back in the cabin. So be back in the cabin by 10 p.m. But like I said, you'll have a name sheet, and on the back of said name sheet, we'll have where you need to be and what you need to do there at all times. Kelsey!
Garrett, not again. What is it this time?
Kelsey, the curfew for the cabin is 10 p.m.
Garrett, if you look around, we are not at Falls Creek yet. And second of all, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning, but the curfew for the cabin is 10 p.m., so don't forget that. Another rule we're bringing back from last year that everyone loves so much is no cell phones. I know everyone hates having the burden of a cell phone when you're at church or at church functions, so we're eliminating that. We're saying no cell phones. David. Hey, David!
I'm gonna choke you, man!
And I know a lot of you are gonna say, why? Why no cell phones? This doesn't make sense. This guy is an idiot. Well, it's simple. Number one, it doesn't matter what you think. The reason for not having a cell phone is simple. They can be a distraction, and I don't want anything that can be a distraction. This week, I want you to hear what God has to say to you. Also, there are other people here. Hang out with them. That's better than your friends who are at home who didn't want to come to Falls Creek with us because they don't matter as much. I'm kidding. So don't bring your cell phone and hear from God this week at Falls Creek. One other thing about cell phones. If you need your cell phone for whatever reason, I might think it's stupid. Just tell me what it is and maybe we can work with you. I'm not a monster. No students are permitted to leave grounds without a sponsor. That means me or any of the other sponsors that are less named than me, but mostly me. Okay? If you don't have permission from me, just don't go. One of my favorite rules is the rule of no open flames at Falls Creek. I know a lot of you are thinking, what's an open flame? An open flame is fire. No fire at Falls Creek.
Hey, Kelsey, smell this new candle I got. Oh, that smells good. Where'd you get that? I got it at...
No open flames at camp. Ha! Deidre thinks I'm hilarious. Speaking of fire, no drugs at Falls Creek. That also means no cigarettes. And while we're doing that, let's say no alcohol as well. Kelsey, is that drugs in your hand?
Garrett, no. It is a pen. I'm writing down a note.
Okay. I just want to make sure because there are no drugs, alcohol, no tobacco products of any kind at Falls Creek. And I was pretty sure that was drugs that you had in your hand there.
No, Garrett, it's not.
Okay. That preacher Dave. What? While I do approve the use of masks and disguises, don't forget, they can't be used outside of the cabin. No pets or animals. Normally I'd look at you, Dominic, but you're not going anyway, so I guess that doesn't matter. No rock throwing. Something that's not obvious that we've had in the past, but we're not going to allow this year, are fireworks. Hey, David.
Yep.
Okay, so I've been thinking about it, and this year we're not going to allow fireworks at Falls Creek.
Exactly. No fireworks at Falls Creek.
So that means none.
None.
So you
No.
can't bring any, kids can't bring any, we're just not going to have any.
Right. Preacher Dave. No.
I had to use a firework in that instance to show you what not to do. No laser pointers. Please make sure you wear your shoes at all times when you're outside of the dorm. No one wants your stinky feet all around the cabin. Not to mention, there's probably all kinds of diseases on that floor. Don't walk around without your shoes on. Kelsey!
Garrett, what are you doing in my office again?
Kelsey, when you're not in your dorm, you have to be wearing shoes.
What dorm? We're not at Falls Creek yet.
Well, I'm just saying, we're gonna be. No fights with water, food, shampoo, soap of any kind, or anything in general that's gonna make a mess, including my favorite, shaving cream. Unless I approve it. Another fun one that only applies to students is no naps. No naps at camp! It brings me great sadness to say this, but no pranks at camp. Listen, nobody likes jokes and pranks as much as me. I've done this whole video in a weird voice. But they can't come to Falls Creek with us. So remember, no pranks at camp. No pranks at camp! Unless I give you permission. Now, while we have rules in place, they're there so you can have a good time. If we allow pranks and someone gets their headset on fire, the person who gets their headset on fire is not going to have a good time. We want everyone to have a good time and to hear from God. So that's why we've implemented these rules, and I hope you have a great week at Falls Creek.